while they've been building the new world order, this technological enslavement system, enslavement grid, and now they have to get rid of the old so that the new can fully emerge. This is all on paper, not just our opinion. And so David's going to break all this down with us in the next 55 minutes that we have left with him. David Icke, please continue.
Well, we've reached the point in this unfolding conspiracy to create this centralized global Orwellian state where it's broken the surface. I mean, for a long time, it was operating under the surface where people couldn't see it. But for it to become installed in place, it had at some point had to break the surface where people could actually see it. So this is a time of great challenge, but it's also a time of great opportunity because people more and more can't just go into denial and ask when the next game shows on, because this is now starting to impact on their lives. And I've just come back from Croatia, where the interest in this whole information that we put out just took me aback. People are starting to wake up to it, and so there's the challenge. Yes, there is, but there's also an opportunity as people can see that what we've been saying is actually now happening. So those two things are going together, and in this, if you like, final run-in to this Orwellian imposition that they want, and is, of course, unfolding very, very fast all over the world, they're now throwing everything they can at us. They want to hit us from emotionally, financially, on all levels. And one of them, of course, is creating fear through finance, because money is what everyone is frightened of not having in this world where it is so important to choice and life and living and survival. But they're also going to hit us on the level of a third world war. I'm absolutely convinced, and have been for a very long time, they want a third world war involving North America, particularly Europe, Russia, and China. And this whole business in Georgia has been part of the moving of the chess pieces to advance that along the road to when it actually breaks out, and possibly involving the Middle East and Israel as a trigger. But it's a time when we've really got to reevaluate our lives and reevaluate our priorities and realize that we're facing not just a massive challenge for ourselves now, but an enormous challenge for our children and grandchildren.
That's right. If we don't say no now, they're going to be able, the New World Order social architects, as you know, in their own textbooks going back 100 years ago, and the different PhDs were put out from Germany and England on this said, they unfreeze societies with crisis and fear, because societies are normally rigid. People like the status quo. But they say it's a danger because they, when things are unfrozen, can mold things the way they want, but also the resistance can mold things. And so this is that window, the enemy's window, our window. That's why all of you have got to shine brighter than ever. What David was saying is that everything is yin and yang in this world. For every action, an equal reaction. And so all over the world, 9/11 truth, everything is exploding like never before. The disinfo operatives are telling us it's all dead. They're panicking. They're trying to tell us you've already lost, you will be assimilated, when we have a really big chance here. And talk about Orwellian, a sneak attack by the U.S. and Israel-backed, NATO-backed Georgia on these Russian enclaves. And talk about mind control. Our media comes and says Russia snuck attack. I mean, if that isn't Orwellian, please continue.
Well, the whole thing in Georgia came originally from the so-called People's Revolution there, and these People's Revolutions, these spontaneous people's protests, which led to the overturning of the regime in power, were invariably manipulated to bring that about. I mean, in Georgia, the so-called Rose Revolution, which involved in a high-profile way a man called Saakashvili, who then became the president, was funded by George Soros. And students were trained in large numbers in the art of civil disobedience and civil protest, which led to that. And so not only did the forces that control American society take advantage of the Georgian Revolution and turned it into yet another 51st state of the United States, they actually created the revolution in the first place. And this happened throughout
And
many
there's always
former Eastern European communist countries.
And David, there's always other layers. Meanwhile, Soros acts like he's against Bush, but then it turns out his funded group worked with the CIA and with Bush and McCain's advisor, who's Georgian. So again, on the surface they're fighting with each other, but behind the scenes they're not. It's like Mary Madeline's and married to George Carville.
Exactly. And the thing is that I've seen people responding to this invasion of South Ossetia by Georgia, and then the Russian response as if, hey, the Americans have got to be crazy or whatever. Did they not realize Russia was going to respond like that? Of course they did. That's part of the game. It's causing this ratcheting up of the fear, the ratcheting up of the...
Yeah, that crashed the Russian stock market that was going up while ours was going down. Now theirs has been shut down for 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, these are all masks on the same face. It's a chessboard. As
Order out of chaos.
Even wrote about.
Yes.
It's a chessboard, and we're seeing the pieces moving around. And what I would say to people is, if you think, you don't like the world as it is now, well, it ain't going to stay like this. This is not the point where they wish to be and pitch their tent and say, okay, we've got control. They want to push this forward in a much more extreme way even than it is now, far more. And if it's bad now, what is it going to be like for our children and our grandchildren? They're going to have to live most of their lives in this Orwellian nightmare that is moving so fast.
They're not even going to live, David. They're not even going to live. In fact, you've written about this before I was even on the scene, but I want you to get into the population plan. Open UN biological diversity assessments. Open government plans, PDDs, State Department Memorandum 200, the Royal Commission on Population. World government is only a means to an end. Let's talk about that end where they debate whether to kill 100% of the humans and then make themselves these cybernetic god creatures. That's not me, that's them, that's mainline. Or... And again, I'm not even saying that's real. That's what they believe. David would say that it probably is. The point is that it's so wild what they write and say. The debate is kill everyone or kill 99% or kill down to 80%. David, talk about that. The end game, where this is going.
Well, the point I really want to get over is that, I've been, with this for many, many years, as you have, and in the end, we as people listening to this show and all shows like it, we have got to move from just learning more and more and more about our own prison and how it works. That's important to know. It really is. We've got to get to the point now where we say, what the heck are we going to do about it? And we have to stop being divided and ruled by the fault lines of religion and class and income bracket and culture and country, and realize that where we're going here, and the cell door is swinging, and we've just got a bit of time here to stop it crashing shut, but not if we just talk about it and shout about it. We've got to start getting organized and respond to this. And what we need is to stop cooperating with our own enslavement. We need mass peaceful non-cooperation with the system.
Here's one. Everybody.
Otherwise, we're building our own prison.
Everybody should put up a micro FM and carry radio shows like this. It's civil disobedience. We've got Northcom declaring martial law right here in the Army Times saying regular brigades of Army troops will be in the U.S. I agree. Put up micros to show the slaves their prison, to unlock their minds. But us at a higher level, go to the city council, say, don't be part of this. Don't be part of martial law. David, how else do we not comply? I mean, what do we do when they put a camera up by our house?